Okay, so we're live now. Good evening, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This is Aaron here with another installment of that D&D podcast's hosting, I guess, of a gameplay test by Jason. So I guess let's go around and introduce ourselves and give Jason the chance to introduce themselves and also the game and maybe if they want to give us a summary, and then we'll dive back in. That sounds good. So I'm Erin, she, her pronouns. I've been part of the podcast since we started like 4 years ago. So if you've seen our streaming stuff, you've probably seen me. Um, so I guess either Ash or M if you want to go.
I'll go. Hi, I'm Ash. I use she, her pronouns. I am a game master, streamer, and game designer. And I am very enamored with this game that we're playing. It's very cool.
It's very good.
Hi, I'm Emily. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a filmmaker and an artist. And I am, yes, I'm very excited. And as I was just explaining to everyone else, I have brought themed snacks. I have sultanas and almonds and olives. So I'm feeling very like I can just picture the Mediterranean feel, and it's good.
We'll put Emily's contact info if you want to reach out for any sort of live stream catering needs you may have.
Yeah.
And Jason, over to you.
Good. Hi. I'm Jason. I made this game that we're playing today. We're going into the second session of Stand in Defiance, which is a myth punk role-playing game about relationships, desire, intimacy, violence, and the wrath of queer Etruscan gods. So we've already seen some we've seen a little bit of intimacy and a little potential for violence so far, but we're hopefully going to get to the wrath of queer Etruscan gods at some point in the next couple sessions. So things are going to take off now.
I don't want wrath against me.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out, I guess.
Oh no.
Yeah. So to start off, do you want to like whip around and just reintroduce the characters again and like go through masks and desires, and then we can just roll straight into scenes? Or sorry, we should do a recap of like what happened last time and then roll into scenes probably.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Yes. This is my lady? Yes. Okay. So my character is Althea Nestor. Nestor is one of the two families who's kind of going to war with each other. She is kind of a marked one of Pacha. And basically it's supposed to have some sort of divine power. So people kind of look up to her. So she's trying to use that influence to sort of hopefully help diffuse a bad situation.
We'll see.
It'll go fine. All my plans work great.
Mm-hmm.
Big gay stop wars. That's this session, probably.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Right. I'm playing Vagoya Telmither, she's the Telmither matriarch. Telmither being the other of the two houses. Both are like in dignity. So yeah, she has like relationships with her husband Tyrannus. Sorry, with her husband Malovich. Tyrannus is Emily's character, and for whom I am a vessel of their worship. And then my relationship with Althea is that she could have been my daughter. She could have become my daughter. And then as like as the matriarch of this like priest house of Turan, which is the correct name for Pacha. She is kind of the vessel of mystical worship of Turan. Her relationship with Turan is I cannot deny their embodied revelation. And then her husband is Melavish, my partner in House Talmither.
I don't like him.
Okay. Yeah, fair. I'm playing Tyrannus, and I'm the salt of the earth, pillar of the community. Tyrannus is a farmer, and sort of has been here a long time, has a lot of kind of possibly naive ideas about, this land as this kind of like peaceful, idyllic Eden, where everyone gets along and we all just grow things together. And so they're a little bit distressed by this drama that seems to have come up between the families, and is really just hoping that it'll all kind of like blow over and we can all, just go back to like being pals. And so they've offered their land, their farm, as like a neutral ground for discussion. Their relationships are with Vagoya. Vagoya engages in intimate rituals with me, and I am vulnerable in this space, and I trust her as a representative of our shared God. I do not necessarily trust her to know what's best for the community. Althea is a very close friend of mine, and Althea's family protects my land and that of my neighbors. We share wine, love of the land, and heartfelt words. I have a relationship with Suri, which is another god. And my relationship is I worship Turan, but Suri is the god of my heart and home. I trust them with my land and the soul of my beloved wife. And I have a relationship with Tiv, who is my sister-in-law, and her sister / my wife, Priestess, has passed away. Tiv runs the market and gets shit done, but she is unfortunately very invested in this kind of feud that is going on.
No potential for drama at all.
Nope, exactly. I'm sure everything will go fine.
And I'm the High Priestess for this campaign, which is the GM equivalent role, which means that I'm going to be playing all of the gods and the other NPCs. And so far, I think we've mentioned most of those. Just like a quick step-by-step rundown of what I remember happening last time. I remember Althea visited Tyrannus to tell them about what's been going on in terms of the Talmitha sacred tree being stolen by the Nestors.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyrannus swore that their farm would be a neutral place, and that the fact that that's an oath that is going to be important probably in the long run. Later on, I remember Vagoya talking to Arl, who was representing House Nestor over possibly returning the tree, and that didn't really pan out.
Mm-hmm.
No, but at the same time, Arl went back somewhat ashamed about it, so maybe that's good in the long run. And then Tyrannus visited Malavish, which was messy.
Oh, yeah. Awkward.
Yeah. And there was some stuff about like, Malavish was concerned that I was a spy for the other house, which wasn't all that surprising. But then he also seemed to want to know whether I'm still learning names, but Vagoya had visited me recently.
Mm-hmm.
And she hadn't, and I still don't know why he wanted to know that. And whatever answer I gave, I think was the wrong answer.
Yeah, he's interesting. He's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, would any answer have been the right answer?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, Jason, you messaged me and I didn't reply in between sessions about like whether or not they have kids. I assumed that we have like some kids, and like that's been part of the like growing apart, because it's like, well, we don't like we've ensured our legacy, right? We've ensured that there will be future and they're like probably adult children.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, I was going to ask about that at the start of this session, just to clarify it, because I felt like I remembered one way or the other.
Yeah, we'd said that like
adult
like
kids.
The oldest son will take over for
That's it. Yeah.
Malovich when Malovich
Mhm.
passes. And then there'll be this weird thing where, like, the oldest
still
son will be the head of the house, and I'll still be the like,
Mhm.
the
matriarch.
the matriarch until if when I die, his wife would become the matriarch.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah,
Patriarchal politics, family politics.
yay.
So with all that out of the way, is there anything anyone wants to do to start off the session? Because I can't start seeing.
I think at the end of the last, I put it in a box. I wanted to visit Vigoya and Malavish at like the temple or their house or wherever like they
Yeah.
normally hang out.
Yeah, I feel like there's the like our house / the temple is like one complex.
Mhm.
That we kind of like live amongst this. There are like sacred spaces within this complex that includes within this like what's the word I want
Villa?
like estate.
Estate,
Mhm.
yeah.
Also, don't forget that I'm being like to have talks at my house. Have talks at my house anytime.
Yeah.
I'll give everybody wine.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, like that's a good point. But if you're gonna like, so like, there's definitely like an area that is like Vigoya's area, and then an area that is like, that is like set apart from the main area a bit. But if you're approaching both of us, it's probably like in the garden. That I feel is like it's like probably a semi courtyard or whatever.
It almost sounds like there might be two separate courtyards on either side of the same building or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the building that that Vigoya does her like sacred bullshit in, is
Sacred
definitely
bullshit.
not like definitely set apart, right? Like it is not connected by walls or roof to the main building.
Yeah.
But there's probably a courtyard that is made by the main building and then like probably a larger, more luxurious like garden courtyard area with like hedges and stuff for like the main house. And that's probably where you would meet us if you're trying to meet us, if you want to meet us at our house.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of comes down to like in which capacity do you want to meet them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want this to be sort of like an off the books kind of meeting. Like, I feel like using Tyrannis's farm would be for official talks, and I am not like the matriarch or anything of the family, so I can't make those things until I get confirmed as the, defined descendant, and then probably I have some more pull. But right now, I'm just a girl with a cool birthmark.
Yeah, but you're also showing up as a fairly high-profile Nestor right after the Nestors have collectively offended the Talmuthas collectively.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So you're going into the main building then?
Either that or just meet outside in like a garden or a courtyard somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
fine with
there's a garden that is like used as like the like entertaining space.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it there's like definitely like Vigoya totally has like a chaise lounge sort of thing. He's like reclining against.
So casual.
Yeah. Malavish, on the other hand, I think is pacing back and forth.
I think he has like a throne type thing that like a formal chair, and like that he's not sitting in.
No, definitely not. It's probably under like, this is outdoors, right? So it's under a gazebo of some sort to keep the sun off. And I feel like this is all happening under there in the same place in the garden.
Yeah.
But he's definitely not sitting down. He's pacing back and forth in front of it, not behind you ominously or anything, but he's agitated.
That's fair.
And then, like,
I don't think there are any servants.
I was gonna say, are there servants? Because I would be like, oh, do you want to like chill out in front of the servants? But yeah,
Yeah.
if there aren't any around, then yeah.
I mean, I feel like there are some that come to bring. Or you're not entertaining though, so they wouldn't bring
Well,
wine.
we technically are, right? Like we're
Yeah.
like this is not political, right? It's just
Yeah.
a friend coming around to say hello, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
Just happen to be from an enemy family right now is all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I think when you first arrived, there was a servant who brought wine and poured it for all three of you, and then was immediately shooed off by
Yeah.
Malavish.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But Malavish hasn't touched a drop since then.
Whereas I have been getting drunk.
I think Althea just sits on the ground and she's got like one knee up and she's resting her arm on it with the cup of wine and she's like, okay, so I came to see if we could talk.
Yeah. Vigoy is 100% like is like talking now. How loud must your words be that they will outshout actions?
Malavish doesn't say anything.
I am trying to work towards having the ability to turn my words into actions.
And she's like, yeah. There's definitely like a thing where she. I want to use the word man, but like she's like, what a poor excuse of man you are. That like non-genderedly.
Mm-hmm.
That your actions are not actions. You could fetch for us this tree anytime that you like.
I have a way to go about this that will not lead to more theft or more anger or more violence or any of that. All I need is for the two of you to agree to meet me in the middle, so to say.
This is an outrage, says Malavish.
It is.
So there will be no further conversation. You will return the tree, or we will act immediately. I think one of the things that's happened here was that Malavish heard Vigoya saying that, what kind of man are you that your words and actions are so different? And he interpreted this as directed exclusively at him.
Yeah.
Masculinity so fragile.
Yeah. Love it.
I do not have the power to take the tree and bring it back to you. It is supposed to reside here, and I agree with you in that. Were you to cease this vendetta you have against me, to where you will not acknowledge that I am touched by Pacha and I am the true divine descendant, then until that's done, my hands are tied. I have no power. I am but a girl with a name.
Is there something in particular you want to have happen here?
I mean, I would like him to, at some point, agree to stop being a dick and, acknowledge who I am.
Shall we do a contest over that?
Sure.
Sounds like that's what's happening.
Yep.
I really feel like I should actually have popcorn. I think that's the appropriate snack here. This is so great.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Okay, so
Popcorn's not good microphone food.
that's true. Oh, that's true as well.
It's the only problem.
Let's do a contest.
Okay.
Yeah, so situation right now, if you can show that on Roll20, we've got 2 dice in the High Priestess pool, and those are going to be used by me to make complications. And what's going to happen is Aaron and I are both going to roll dice first at the same time, and then we're going to take turns going back and forth. And we're going to try to resolve the contest with one of us having the higher total than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever resolves the contest with the higher total wins. There can be ties where the result's a bit more complicated.
Okay.
But let's give it a shot and talk through it as it goes.
I think before we do this this contest, I want Vigoya to because there's an important point from Vigoya's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is like, yeah, I think she says, I think she's saying, like, you want us to say, you want us to say that, in front of everyone that you are the embodiment of Tehran, and yet you, and I think she says, and yet you are, and yet you're of Nesta. This would not be a problem if you would turn away your family name and join and take up your place among House Talmudar. There is a place here for you.
There are no thieves in House Tamatha.
Yeah. I think she says, like, she totally says something along the lines of, like, none that I have heard of, and then she, like, gives like a look as if like to Malavish, as if like there's some other thing that's not being discussed, like a history thing.
I have
Yeah.
had no part in the theft. I am benefiting in no way from the theft. I am trying to unite these families as previous divine descendants have done.
Then swear to us an oath that you will that when you return when you return to us with the tree, you'll take up your place here. You must turn away from you must give up your Nesta name if we are to name you.
I will give up my name, but I cannot take yours. I am to be bound by no family name aside from that of Pacha.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna like I'm like yeah, I think she's made her point, right? Like and so like I don't know what Malavish's like spot there is, because like I don't think Malavish even wants her to take the name, or
Yeah, he doesn't have any stake in this thing between the two of you, I think. But yeah, I feel like there's two separate conversations
there's two separate
going
conversations going on, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's
And
how
she's
arguments
like,
go sometimes.
and she's like, if you if you will not take up a holy name, then you must act as as mere human. Use your hands and your mind that you and your heart that must be so strong with Tehran inside you. You want to you say you cannot do anything. Have you you say you cannot do anything, cannot take a name, cannot steal a tree. You do not seem so inspired to me. Return to your house of thieves.
Very well. I had hoped that given not only our long and friendly past, but the long cooperation and friendship between our families, that we could resolve this without things becoming ugly. I don't want things to become worse than they are. I'm trying to fix them in the ways that are available to me, in the methods of resolution that I can see.
I would have you. I would welcome you to my bosom as child of mine under within Talmudar, and yet you make me weep with excuses.
You can offer a gift. We know how that works.
Me or her?
You.
Because then I have to.
I think uh, Althea gets up and she puts um, the cup of wine kind of on the other end of the furniture that crap that
Begoya?
Vagoya,
Or,
yeah, geez,
or
yeah, that Vagoya is sitting on and kind of just leans in and tries to hug you.
yeah, I think she accepts the hug and begins weeping.
And like I think while they're hugging, she whispers, "You know I love you, right? Like my own blood."
No further needles. Your knife is enough.
Would me changing my last name be a way to resolve this for you?
If you swore it to me, if you swore it to me, I would see Malavish and name you anything you wish.
Very well.
So you do have to say "I swear it." I think like it has to include the word "swear."
Yeah.
If you make an oath, you have to say, I swear.
I swear. Oh crap! I was trying to think of that Boyz II Men song, "By the Moon and the Stars in the Sky." I'll be there. um.
Yeah, in which case she's like, she like immediately just like stops crying, and is like, and is just like Malavish. She will, Malavish. She will honor our family. We will have we will have the sacred tree returned. And you will name her, and you will name her the like you'll name her daughter of Turan, and this will be a great honor upon our family.
So, Ash, what do you want to have happen here?
Me as a player, because that's I mean, it's kind of boring if he just does it.
I feel like the relationship between the two of you isn't good enough for him to just do whatever you say,
Yeah,
right?
that exactly.
Yeah,
That doesn't
I think
seem-
I want to contest, because if he does do the thing right, I'm interested in like we'll probably have to see some other NPCs on the Nesta side, because there'll be an interesting. I imagine that's an conflict for.
I mean,
Well, this
Yeah.
also depends very much on exactly what it is that you want him to do as the outcome of this.
Yeah, well, I mean that like what Vagoya wants is for him to fulfill like the like step first part of the bargain, right, which is like like officially recognizing Altair's like divinity.
So the thing is, with that being what your intention is, I think only a god could make him do that
Yep, cool, excellent.
right now
I
under
think
these
that sounds
circumstances.
I think that sounds great. So I mean, yeah, so she issues him the order, right? Like she says, she gives him like the like, I am your wife, do what I say. What happens if she attempts a thing that only a god could do without a god's help right now? Because what I want is for him to be like, no, fuck you, and for her to be like, I'm going to go off and work out another way to make this happen, like as a player.
He just laughs.
Yeah.
In the same way that he did with Tyrannus before. It's just that stone face and then sudden abrupt.
Yeah, awesome, cool. She's like, I think she turns to Altair and is like, men do not see clearly until the fog has passed. And then she's like, go home to your family, make preparations.
Names won't solve this, says Malavish.
And I think she says, and neither will taking up arms against a much better equipped foe. And like, and she's like, have another drink, you stupid old man, and like, and
That
and
can
like,
be changed. That can be changed. And he storms off.
yeah, cool, excellent. And she 100% storms off in the other direction, and it's like a servant there being like, oh.
Don't worry, I know the way out. And I think she just turns around and leaves.
Whew. Well, that was a scene.
Yeah.
That was
So-
great.
Yeah, so just for the audience, I want to clarify one thing. When I said only a god, that's a thing in the rules. Specifically, what the rules say are characters are mortal and their powers are finite. Most of the time, players just say what their character is capable of, but sometimes people overreach and strain each other's sense of what's plausible. Basically, if anyone thinks that only a god could do what a player is saying their character does, you just say that. And that means that, for one thing, that character can't do that. For another thing, no other character can do that. But a god could help that character do that thing if you made an oath to them and got them to.
I just love the
help
fact
you.
that only a god could change Malavish's mind. Like,
Yeah.
like the idea that someone could be so stubborn is just
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
He's that much of a
Yeah,
shithead.
I feel like
Yeah, it's
if we,
amazing.
if we'd actually done the contest earlier, I feel like there was a chance that you could have gotten something out of him. But at the point
Yeah.
with Althea falling into Vagoya's arms in front of him,
And then
uh,
like they had this like
conversation.
whispered conversation.
yeah,
Like
no.
here and yeah.
Mhm.
God, if I join this family, I'm telling him you're not my real dad every day.
Oh, and you challenged him that your family isn't well armed enough, too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is going to be wonderful.
I found a gun.
It's made of bronze, but we can make it
Wait.
work.
Wait. Is our family the New Zealand Army? We've got a gun.
It's okay, we just pass it down and reload it and fire it.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the Russian method.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my scene.
That was your scene. That was a great one. Thanks
Well,
for
I have
sharing.
I have a thing I need to do.
Mhm. What's that?
Well, I need to go and have a chat with Turan.
With Turan. Great.
Yeah, except
I have a question.
yes.
I have a question for you, Ash, because I think that we have accidentally, as players, created an interesting like asynchronous, and then this came up briefly in the last game, asynchronicity / like tension in the way that we were viewing like our character's connection, and rather than like trying to make that line up, like kind of retconning that to line up, I'm more interested in finding out why we have such a different view, because yeah, your description of like your role, I've thought about and I've thought about it and I've gone, no, I just don't think that is a thing I would engage with in the way that your character sees it. So I'm like really interested in, and I'm bringing it up now, I guess, because you're going to be doing religious stuff. Because I think like I think Tyrannus has this idea that it's almost like the roles are reversed. Like Tyrannus has this idea that they are not a vessel, but they are like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a component in the spell that you like, the spells that you do to communicate with the god, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to know whether that is at all involved in this stuff, and totally fine with me if it isn't. I'm just sort of throwing that in there because I'm like,
Yeah, and that was the thing. I was trying to work out like whether or not this was going to be a scene that involved Tyrannus, because I can see that. I mean, the thing is that there's definitely a thing of like she is like vessel is the very important word for like the like her role as far as
Mm.
she is almost like her power within the like relationship to Turan is like the power to like it is the power to like deny or shape, but it isn't like she is like deny or shape revelation, but not much. She is quite she doesn't have a lot of agency in that like mystical practice, but she has agency in that she is the one who has it. Right, she's the one who controls access to it to a certain degree.
Yep, that aligns with my
Yeah,
view.
and so I think there's this thing where I think that actually, so yeah, you don't think that you would come to me for, or
No, I think I have I think I have nothing. I don't seek things from you.
yeah,
I think
right,
that's the key. I think the way that I view it, and maybe this is like a private thing that I keep to myself or something, or I don't know. It could be asynchronous in a number of ways, but I think Tyrannus either there is an arrangement that is a little strange for Vigoya, where Vigoya like seeks Tyrannus rather than the other way around, and is like, right, it's time to do a thing. We're doing a thing, on the full moon this week, or Tyrannus comes to Vigoya, but more, but they go to her when they think she needs them.
that was what I was thinking. Made sense.
Like
that second
like
one.
they go, I have the feeling
Yeah,
that
I think
that she needs my help,
yeah,
so I'm gonna go.
that makes sense to me.
Cool, yeah, that works for me. And I don't know whether and I think that's not necessarily then a thing that they would talk about. Maybe it's more appropriate to pretend
Yeah,
that
I definitely agree with that. Yeah,
that they're seeking something, but that's not really what it's about.
the lesbian episode of Firefly.
Right.
Right,
Sure.
like
Yeah, sure.
yeah, this is technically like it's technically you coming to worship, right? Technically.
Yeah. Yes, well, up to you whether that's relevant here, or whether the scene is like.
Well, okay, yeah, I think you probably have that sense then, right? That there is that she is struggling.
Okay. In which case, because I think as a player, I feel most comfortable if like very, very intimate scenes are like off-screen things. So like I would love if we have a scene that involves that, like to start like sort of like after that stuff has happened and maybe we're drinking wine and we're talking, or before those things have happened.
I think it's probably like I'd like to do a scene that's before.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't, because okay, so here's what I'm going to. So from my perspective, Vigoya is going to go to her sanctum place, and what's what I'm looking for? Like call out to
Beseech. Invoke.
Yeah, invoke or beseech. I think beseech.
Oh, there's totally a thing where like wherever your sanctum like is, like if I am like on a certain part of my farm, I can like see the light or something like that. And like it's probably this kind of like semi-magical thing where like I don't happen to be there, or I don't happen to see the light unless it is a time when like my presence is required.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
Yep. So yeah, I think she is in her sanctum, and she is beseeching Turan. She has like she takes a veil and like puts it over her face and ties it behind her head, and then lights incense and probably lies in a bath, something like
So
that.
what does it usually look like when Tehran responds to this? Is there anything in
This
particular?
is the thing, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure that she very often does that, right?
Yeah.
Very often beseeches,
Mhm.
because she's so often the person making like doing small things,
Yeah.
and like pushing and nudging rather than like trying to like outright change someone's mind.
Mhm.
So I think well, like the gods wander the world. I'm she's expecting for Turan to walk in the door.
Mhm.
But it's me instead. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm asking Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the sanctum like? It's a room with
It's a small room,
Yeah.
cylindrical, with like a domed roof. It has a bath at one end, a table,
Yeah.
and like a bed. Like it's a bed slash sitting area, with like small, small like coffee tables near that.
Yeah. Is there a window or something? Because the light's visible from it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The window is like so looking in through the door, you have like the bed area on the right,
Mhm.
the like table,
Yeah.
altar on the left, and then like at the far end is this bath with
Mhm.
the window like behind it.
Yeah. Wooden shutters on the window kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear the clatter of a pebble against the wooden shutters.
There's this weird like awkward like like and like she now like standing in the bath instead of like floating on the top of it, like
Mhm.
like peers out the window.
Yeah, and as you do that, another pebble sort of bounces off the wall next to the window. What time of day is it? It's evening, right?
It's pretty late in the evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
late in the evening. So you can see the shadow of a fairly tall person standing outside.
She's like, this is she definitely has the like, this is weird, okay, and like hardly puts on like a like a robe, and like takes off the weird mask thing, and so she goes from being like mystical priestess in the water to like woman peering outside in her bathrobe, being confused as to what's happening.
Yeah, you see the tall figure sort of walk closer, and as she comes into the light that's coming out of the window, since you've opened the window now, you see a fairly tall woman, long hair, dark hair, sort of curling ringlets down the front, long gold earrings, dark eyes, dark eyeshadow as well. And she's sort of smirking at you, wearing a very long white dress-like thing, the kind that's has no sleeves, just sort of over the shoulders with brooches to pin it there. And she walks all the way up, right up to the window, and sort of leans her elbows on it and looks in, puts her head in her hands, and says, "You called?"
You are throwing stones. Yeah, and she's like, if you are throwing stones, go throw them at my husband. For his head is already full of them.
Well, he didn't call on me. You did.
And yeah, and she says, and she says, I call on you on his behalf, for he is too foolish to too foolish to see his need of you.
Oh, that's a pity, isn't it? Here, let me in. Open up the door, and she walks around towards it.
I mean, Yeah, I feel like it's a curtain, right? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like it's never like it can't be locked.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so she says, yeah, open up and I'll come right in. And she doesn't wait for you or anything. She just
Yeah.
walks around,
Yeah,
pushes
and
the
like
curtains behind, closes it
yeah,
behind her.
yeah, and like I'm standing there being like, this is a weird way to be interacting with a god in my like bathrobe.
Do you have wine?
She's like, yes, of course, and like she has like a store of wine, and she does her best to like look composed and glamorous and like mysterious as she like offers wine and curls up on the bed thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And she takes the wine and takes a sip. Sits down on one of the chairs that you have, puts her feet up on one of the tables.
I think I say, I think I say, Althea, is your child?
I have many children.
And she's like, do you know their names?
She just nods.
Yeah, she's like, um, would you see would you see Altair? Would you see one named Altair worship in this house again?
What are you looking for right here? You as player.
I'm trying to work out whether she's trying to be like tricksy towards a god.
Yeah.
I think
It'll go well.
Yeah, like I feel like Vagoya as a character trying to work out it's like if Altair really is the like a child of Turan, then that's a reason for like for Turan to like help her with changing because she doesn't think that this is the thing is that like Vagoya sees herself as like a vessel, as a servant, and so she's not going to try and like she's trying to know, am I doing the right thing? Are we on the same side? Is this doing what you want to do? Blah, 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 blah. Like there's this whole thing of like you will obviously help me with this thing because it's what you want, right? That's what it is from her perspective.
Yeah. So
but
the
like
sort of intermediate step is that you want her to make her will clear to you in some way.
at the moment, yeah.
In the moment, yeah. Okay.
Do you want to do that as a contest? Because that sounds like a ridiculous thing.
Yeah,
like
I want to see this as a contest.
All right, so I get to roll a d8.
You roll a d8 and I roll a d6, and that's how we start.
And is it high or low that we want?
You want high.
Wow.
Well,
no,
I would like to resolve.
I go first on that because I rolled lower.
I appreciate that.
Let's see. What can I?
Because I like this because like I am like understanding Turan's bullshit is kind of my thing.
Yeah, I think I just have to resolve here. Really, there's.
That said, like an understanding of the gods is one of the things she doesn't have, right? So like she might understand intent here, or like, but not why, or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah. What's so.
Yeah. So Turan
yeah.
leans back, stretches a little, and sets the wine goblet down on the table, and a little bit of it spills. Tell me this. What do you think is my temple?
Yeah, and she and like she's got to be like Vagoya for all of her like cleverness has got to be like like the house.
She nods. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been.
And
She
she's
takes
like,
her feet off the table, scoots back in the chair, leans forward. And in this process of leaning, her shoulders seem to widen and bulge a bit, and her hair falls back onto her back instead of in front of her. Her chest flattens, and by the time she sets her chin in her hands again, there's a thin beard on it. And he says, "A lot of things change."
and yeah, the guy says, uh, says, if your temple is not here, then where is it? Where is it now?
He smirks. My temple has never been a building.
And she says, can your she says, is your temple so little that it can be stolen?
Well, it depends on what you mean by steal, doesn't it? And he reaches over and ruffles your hair.
And she's like, yeah. Okay. Pardon?
You're the temple.
Oh, okay. She's like, oh, I thought you meant the tree.
And he just sort of laughs and leans back again and reaches.
And she's like, I think she says, but I will die, and there must be one to replace me.
He nods.
And she says, there will be bloodshed, and I fear for Altair in such a thing.
Why?
Pardon?
Why? Why do you fear?
And I'm like, she shines brightly. These such things are easy to mark with an arrow.
He shrugs.
She says, I think at this point she is like, okay, now this is about what I want then. And she says, Turan, please, if my husband would only accept her, then this girl of, I think she says this girl of yours, could return safely to my arms.
He smirks and shakes his head, leans forward, stands up. What's the point of a priest who never goes to a temple? And he walks towards the curtain.
All right. Yeah.
Wow.
I think she says, I think she says, the temple cannot go to the worshipper.
At the curtain, she turns and the beard is gone. Her
Yeah.
shoulders have shrunk down again. And she says, then I'll get a new priest. Opens the curtain, steps out.
Cool. Great. Excellent.
Wow.
I love them.
That was really good. This is a good scene. This is
That was fun.
I also just love that this is like that this game like allows for like ultimate non-binary gender fluid dreams.
Yes.
It is
Yeah,
the best, and I'm very about it.
it was a lot of fun. Anyway, I think we should go to a break.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's right about an hour in. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. So do your part to prevent blood clots by getting up, stretching, and make sure you hydrate. All right, and we are back. I think right when we left, we finished Ash's scene, which means Emily, you're up. If you have anything you would like to throw at us.
Yeah, I have a thought. So I think, and I'm just going to throw this idea in there, and because I'm not sure sort of how responsibilities for world buildy stuff go.
Mhm.
Everywhere.
Great. All right. Well, I think that it is approaching the time of the year wherein there is a festival to like honor those who have passed,
Mm.
Yeah.
and that the tradition is to hold a big feast.
Mhm.
And I think that has sort of like been in like slightly different places. Sort of people kind of share the responsibility of like hosting the feast. But I would like to go and speak with Tiv, who runs the marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
and basically as part of like announcing or trying my best to announce to the community at large that I would like to host. I'm gonna try and like get Tiv on side for that, and specifically get Tiv on side for like a big inclusive, everyone will have something more important to focus on feast, wherein all the families can come together and have
Yeah.
a nice and really sacred time. So
So
that's
you're thinking of meeting with Tiv privately then?
no,
Have this conversation?
I think I would meet Tiv at the marketplace.
Okay, at the marketplace. On the
Yeah.
market day.
Yep. I think I currently don't have any like I am currently, maybe just because I think this is a bit how this character is at this point in time at least, I am just assuming that this conversation will be relatively simple and will go pretty well. So I don't
Definitely.
see any need to meet privately.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just
Yeah.
showing up then at their spot in the marketplace.
Yeah,
And
I
feel
think
like-
I would. Yeah, try to like turn up when they might, when she might have time to, like have a drink with me or something. Like take a break.
Yeah, so probably around like lunch,
Mhm.
like business lunch.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly. Business
Yeah, yeah.
time.
Yeah, so she's been busy this morning. There's a lot going on. Sort of runs her hand through her hair. She's about average height, maybe a little bit shorter, short, like chin length, blonde hair, and I think she's about the same age as you. Yeah. So yeah, she joins you wherever you are.
Cool.
Here at the stall, or
Yeah. Or maybe near the, maybe I think like near the stall there's maybe another person who sells sells wine or something like that, and maybe occasionally we go and get a drink from them.
yeah, she looks over to them and just says that and gestures, and then I feel like so what's in the marketplace? Is there a there has to be a temple of some kind in the vicinity, right? Like,
Yeah,
the sort of-
sure.
well, no, this isn't really a city, so it's probably
No.
not.
Yeah, no, it's like this is like a crossroads that is otherwise not a settlement.
That's
But
right.
I love the
There's-
idea that there might be a shrine at the crossroads.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Exactly. Yeah, the Crossroads Shrine, which would be a shrine to probably a shrine to Vanth, I think.
That was my question. That was my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like there are steps up to it a bit, and she sort of waves you over to sit down on the steps next to her. The wine seller brings over a jug and a couple of small cups and pours them out for the two of you.
Yep.
How have you been doing recently? We haven't talked in a while.
And they smile and they say, well, the land is treating me well as usual. And
Yeah.
speaking of, it is nearly time for the celebration of the dead.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I was thinking I would host this year.
Really? Oh, that's nice. Yeah, yeah. Are you? What? Why? Why are you planning on doing that? Do you have the space even? I mean, no offense or anything. Just
Yeah, exactly. Rude. No.
I just want to make sure that like you're prepared because you haven't before, and
Yeah,
as a friend.
hmm yeah, and they sort of nod, and they say, yes, well, that was part of the reason I wanted to talk to you. I thought I know you're very busy, but your help is always appreciated.
No,
With
of course.
you're very good at organizing and
Thanks.
rallying people together. But yes, my this year and this crop has been very fruitful. I was thinking something perhaps a little different, quite casual, maybe in the almond groves. We could
Yeah,
set up some lights.
yeah, that would be good. The almond groves, different, smaller as well. I think. Yeah, I think it looks like there's going to be two this year. Were you thinking of hosting the Talmithas or the Nestors?
Yeah, right. So they're like, as soon as she says that, like their face kind of like, like, and they say, two.
Yeah,
Oh.
Uh, why is that?
well, it doesn't
Usually
look good.
we all feast together.
Yeah, it doesn't look good spending time with the Nestors right now.
Well, I mean, is it? I understand everyone is it's very upsetting, of course, but isn't that why it's most important that we all spend time together? It's a very sacred time. I I don't like what it would say to. There are families who share relatives that have
Yeah,
passed on, and
yeah, there are. But look, if you're thinking of hosting and you bring both of these families together and something happens, that's
oh,
on
well,
you.
nothing would happen. Surely it's a sacred day,
Yeah, it's a sacred day for remembering the dead.
and they will be watching.
Yeah, but they have a history, don't they? The Talmuthas and the Nestors.
I mean, I suppose they've always they have some tension, but I assume it's just
Yeah.
because of their places. They're very large and everything.
Yeah,
Old
but
families.
if on the day when we remember the dead, the ranks of the dead increase, that's not good for anybody involved.
And yeah, I think like Tyrannus like shakes their head and they're like, I don't think that would happen. They're very angry, but they often get very angry. I'm sure it's all talk.
Is there something you're going for here? Something you want to have happen?
Yeah, sure. I think. Let me look. How do I want to go about this? Because it could be that it's just a contest, and I like want her to. I think that's what it is. I think that's the simplest way. I think
Mhm.
I want her to stop being paranoid and like just help me do the regular thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's do the first roll for that.
Okay, I gotta remember how to do this now.
You're just going to roll a d8, and I'm going to roll a d6.
Okay,
So we're going to start there. Ah, crap. My roll 20 is crashing.
Oh no.
Nice. Do you want to try reloading? If you want, I can try rolling a d6 for you. It's up to you.
It should be reloading.
Okay.
I got a 4, by the way.
Yep, I see the 4. And I got a 3. Okay. Yeah, so on hearing you say that, she nods and smiles and nods, and says, look, even if nothing happened, I don't trust the Nestors. Like stealing, theft's pretty bad. And if they did that again, I mean, if they're willing to take a tree that belongs to a god from the house of a wealthy family like the Talmuthas, what are they going to do to me? And on the other hand, plus there's I wouldn't want Malavish to be around them right now. And this is two complications. The one being the Nestors having a reputation for being thieves, and the other one being that Malavish could be actually dangerous.
Really angry and kind of an asshole. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going.
Cool.
That's two separate complications. So I'm going to roll 2d6 plus the existing 3. That is a total of 12. 4 right now.
Yikes.
On the other hand, the High Priestess pool goes from 2 to 0.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And so if I want to persist here, then
that would put a d6 back in the High Priestess pool.
Yeah.
And then you'd get the d8.
And then I'd get a d8. So I still, and even if I, if I rolled maximum, I could catch up.
Yes.
That's, unlikely.
The other thing to be aware of is that if the contest ends with the High Priestess pool having no dice in it, I get one in it for free. So there isn't really anything to lose.
Right. So I might as well persist, really, at this point. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So I think they listen to everything and sort of they get a bit of a crease in their brow, and kind of put their hands together and they say, I mean, I do understand. I understand your fears. I just think we all live here together. And even though I can see you want to keep people apart a little, I just don't think that that's going to resolve the problem. The only thing that will resolve this is if everyone can remember why we're neighbors. And having separate feasts, I think, will only add fuel to the fire. And I think, how do oaths work?
You can take an oath to a god, and in exchange, that god will intervene in the contest. And this is something that happens privately between you and the god. You promise the god some great service. We can talk out what's appropriate for that, and then divine intervention.
Okay, right. So yes, because I was trying to work out whether whether there's a mechanic for making oaths to the person that you're having contest with, but no, it's specifically about God's.
Yes.
Got it.
It is divine intervention to win automatically. Yeah.
Well, I will roll this dice anyway. I think that's the thing for now. So they're just sort of saying
D8 plus 4.
Yep, cool. Yeah, so the argument that they're making back is basically having them separately is what's going to make the drama bigger. Oh, damn it. I was like, oh my god, I rolled an 8. Wait, no.
Nope. Total of 8, yeah. So the question now is, are you going to make an oath to a god, or am I going to resolve this?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, we're talking about a festival to honor the dead, so I'm going to assume that it has to do with Suri.
Yep, definitely.
And I have a relationship with Suri, and I have a relationship that is pretty much I will do whatever you want, really, at any time. So I think what can I offer? I assume that it would generally be that I decide what I'm offering in exchange.
Yeah, you make the offer.
Yeah.
We can talk out what that would be for the god to accept it.
Okay, yeah. So a good thing could be to sacrifice something of great personal value, to perform a great task or ritual, To build a great offering or temple, to destroy something that offends the god by existing. I think I will say yes. I think I would like to make an oath to Suri. That is, if Suri can help me to like make this feast happen on my land, I will. I will ensure that like a bigger offering than like has ever been done at this festival before will be performed.
Could you be more specific?
Sure.
Both should be fairly
Yep.
specific.
Okay.
Like if we get to the extent that we can make them specific.
Okay. I think like generally at these festivals, there's sort of like the host would perform like an offering and like offer sort of a part of like their harvest or whatever. I think do I want it to be like I will offer like I don't think that I am impractical enough that I would be like, I'll offer you my entire harvest. But I think
that would work.
Yeah, that would work. Because I don't think that I think the stakes are high enough yet to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm still operating under this like, no, like it'll all blow over. I think. Okay. What if I offer that I will ensure not only a ritual, like an offering of that sort from me, but also from the two great families?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And so when you're making this oath, is these just words you're saying in your head pretty much?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I like take the moment to sort of pour some wine for Tiv and for myself, and I like sit and kind of like muse over it for a moment and like drink my wine and think about the
I think as you think about that, you hear children laughing in the road next to you, and they sort of both run past. It seems like they came out of nowhere, but they're chasing after a dog, and the dog's chasing after a cat, and the cat's chasing after a mouse. And they all run through this bush, and there's flowers in the bush, and there's flowers and leaves scattering everywhere, and everyone's laughing. Tiv starts laughing a bit as well. The kids keep running off down the road, and Tiv looks back to you and says, well, a little bit of peace and love, some celebration could smooth things out. Let's keep an eye on him, though.
And I think like Tyrannus like beams because this is these are all of the things that I care about, and like I think sort of like says don't worry, I completely have it in hand, and then like sort of goes to like kind of cheers Tiv with the like glasses.
Great. And I think that ends the scene, and let's write down that oath.
Yep, I will write it down. So
also, Aaron, would you write down the oath that you made in the previous scene?
Oh, right, yes. I was like, I haven't made an oath yet, and then I absolutely have.
Yeah, you've made one. Em's made two now.
I have. Festival offerings from not only my farm, but the harvests of the two great families.
I love these character portraits you have, by the way.
Yes, I just found one as well, so I'm happy now.
I always like putting character portraits. It's a fun little.
It's good. I find it really helpful because I do like to visualize all of this stuff.
Yeah, I should do that for the NPCs for the next time.
That would be great. That would be fun.
So, what's the next scene after this? Come back around to Aaron if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, I think Um, I think I went from meeting new mom and dad to having a talk with current mom and dad.
Yeah, so who's your current mom and dad? We haven't really.
Yeah, I just picked out some names off the list. Um,
Right.
so mom is Menla, Menle, and dad is Ectur, Ectur.
Great. So where are you meeting them? What are you going to them about?
Um, I think at like a family dinner, um, where it's just the two of us. Any other siblings or um, house helpers or anything like that have gotten up and gone out for the night, and we're all just kind of sitting around with a glass of wine and talking,
Mhm.
and I'm here to tell him to give me the tree.
Mhm. So what's your relationship with them like?
I feel like
Or at least what's on your end of that relationship? If we can do the picking a tag thing.
yeah. Let's see, picking a tag. Let me pull up that sheet. Hmm. I think there's suspicion.
Hmm.
They're very they're those parents who are always trying to it almost seems like they use their kids as a means to show off.
Yeah.
My children are well educated. Well, yes, well, my child's well educated and she's the descendant of Pacha and all this kind of crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um so it's one of those things where it's like, yes, they treat me well, but I suspect that it's not just for the sake of treating their daughter well.
Yeah. And I think there's also trust in that relationship because they both assume that when they show you off that you'll do the right thing. They trust you to be to play the role of the good daughter.
Mm, hate it. Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I also feel like Ector's somewhat older and Menla's a bit younger.
mhm,
Like she's the 40 something but extraordinary shape, looks 10 years younger kind of woman.
mhm.
And he married her probably when he was twice her age and is now getting on a bit.
Fifth session. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think um, we're all sitting down and we're drinking wine,
Mhm.
and I say, you know, I I really wish that I was trusted enough to have more of a hand in the decision making for this family. If not for the things I've already done, but maybe perhaps the things that Pacha feels that I am destined to do.
I understand, says Ector. And he sets down his wine and this knife, I guess, that he's been
Hmm.
eating with. I but you understand as well, daughter, my darling, that in this family we make decisions together. We all have our say, we all hear each other out, and as a group, we decide how to act.
When was I given the chance to weigh in on stealing a tree?
Oh, You must have. Weren't you there for that one? I was so sure that you were. And he turns over to Menla and says, "Wasn't she there?" And Menla leans forward and says, "No, I think. Weren't you with Vagoya at the time?" "Yes, that must have been it." And she looks away and goes back to whatever it was she was doing.
You treat
You could have
this.
spent more time with us.
You treat this like a trivial matter. People will most likely die over this.
No, Menla shakes her head. The Tomathas can't possibly take it back. There may be as many of them as there are of us, but we're wealthier. There are more of us armed.
The Talmuthas are people too, Father. Why did you think when I said people would die, I only meant in our family?
And it's that deep sigh of, you're my child, and you've said something that I don't immediately know how to give a comeback to, but I'm just going to express vague parental disapproval of having to think about how to reply, that kind of deep sigh. And is there something you're trying to get here?
I think I want him to at some point realize what, not so much like what my birthright is, but like with what everybody is saying that I am, there is a certain like regard for life and wish to keep the peace that I should probably have, and like my parents are fucking stuff up for me. They're embarrassing me in front of company.
So what do you want them to do? Or is it just shifting the relationship between all of you?
Well, I want them to like get to a point where they're like, okay, well that's a good point, and okay, that's a good point, and be like, okay, so give me the tree.
So you want them to actually listen to what you're saying instead of
Yes,
blowing it off.
instead of sighing and just
Mhm.
waving their hands when I bring up like a legitimate concern.
Okay. I feel like, yeah, I think we can just have that happen and move on to the nitty gritty of the conversation instead of beating up about the bush, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a tree. Excuse me. It's a tree.
Yeah, the beating about the tree. Yeah. So yeah, so Hector sits back in his chair and says, "Very well. Let's have it out. You disagree with the decision that we've made?"
I do, and the tree should be returned.
That's quite impossible at this point.
It is in fact not impossible. I was in their house today, speaking with them. Give me the tree, and I will bring it back.
You've spoken with Malavish, then, the madman.
I'm not a fan of him. Vagoya is kind. We have always had a loving, almost familial relationship.
Vagoya may be kind, but Malavish has failed to recognize you. Has failed to identify you as the one chosen by the god, which you clearly are. And in doing so, he has shamed all of us before our ancestors. And this with the Festival of Surrey approaching. When they will look down on us. It shakes his head.
Stealing a sacred tree isn't bringing shame on us in front of our ancestors?
It's ours by birthright, they'll understand.
We cannot choose how other people act, but we can choose how we act. We can decide that we're unhappy with the way that Malavish conducts himself and the way he disrespects the office that he has. But for us to resort to theft and soon bloodshed if this isn't resolved is absurd. You have just acknowledged that you see me as the descendant of Pacha, and as such, you should listen to what I am telling you, because ignoring me is like ignoring that of the commands of Pacha themselves. give me the tree.
This is definitely a contest.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what the outcome, because so the outcome here isn't just that they would give you the tree. It's that they would recognize you as having special authority
Yeah.
based on your own personal claim to the touch of the god,
Yeah.
rather than the formal process of all that. Ooh, well, let's roll some dice and then see where we go from there.
Cool.
So exciting.
Yeah, this is gonna be big.
3, not great.
1, also not great. Damn, I just can't roll dice in just this campaign at all.
It seems that way.
You did great in the last one.
It means we're
Yeah.
gonna win.
I had to roll all of them in order to do it, though.
That's true.
So Hector stands up and doesn't slam his hands on the table. He sets them down and leans forward a bit and just keeps very firm eye contact with you and says, "You do not just defy me. You defy your mother, you defy your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, the whole family. You defy our traditions. Is this truly what you mean to do?" And I'm going to roll that complication. That's a tie.
What happens on a tie?
So you can resolve, and you will get what you want, and I get a free other complication on top of it. But you still get your goal.
Mm. So I think what I am gonna resolve. I think she pushes away from the table, and she says, "You know what? Let's see if you're as big as your words." And she just walks over towards where the tree is, and she's gonna pick it up and then walk out with it herself.
No one is stopping you.
Sweet.
But this definitely changes the relationship you have with both of them and probably everyone in the family,
That's fine.
or many people in the family. But yeah, no one stops you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm taking it and I'm walking out.
It's not that tall of a tree. You can lift it by yourself.
Good.
And yeah.
But I love the idea that it's like heavy enough that it's awkward, so you can just sort of have that thing where you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm taking this. I'm just
Yeah.
taking it."
Yeah, I think no one's stopping you, but no one's volunteering to help you either.
Totally
It's
fair.
just dead silence. You can hear a pin drop, and the noise of you sort of scraping and shuffling along with this thing is
Yeah.
just the only thing that anyone's hearing.
I think she's got like a very, very stoic face. You know, she's probably like sweaty and dirty because she just pulled the tree out.
Yeah.
And
How strong is she?
I think probably a little bit stronger than like, you know, a normal girl her age.
Yeah.
She tries to
So
keep
there's
herself in shape, but I think there's a little bit of
Yeah.
a little bit of an edge there too.
Yeah, there's an element of showing off some of her physical power here as
Yeah.
well, I think.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Like, even a small tree, it's not easy to just pick it up and
No,
carry it.
trees are heavy.
I kind of had in my mind also that it's like because I think we talked about the idea of it being sort of bonsai'd, but maybe like naturally like that, and I kind of imagined it being in like one of those big clay
Oh,
pots.
God.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
heavy.
You know, so you have to like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why there's like the sliding and
Yeah.
scraping. And it's the pot that it's in is definitely going to be damaged, but I think not broken.
Okay.
Just sort of scraped, dented, paint chipped off it.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
Not a metaphor for the relationship at all.
Definitely.
and I think when she leaves, she's gonna head towards Tyrannis's house.
Okay.
So I think
Do you
that
want to end this
Oh,
scene?
yeah, I think that's the end of my scene.
Okay, let's end this scene and jump to Ash, and then go to the one with the two of you, maybe.
Well, here's the thing: is that the next thing I
would
want
love
to
it if you were at my house.
well, I want to do it. The next thing I want to do is at the party.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's still Well, that would be quite a jump, I think.
That's quite a jump. Okay.
Because I'm imagining that there would be other preparations that need to
Yeah.
happen, and like
Well-
I would like to have scenes where I can convince various family people.
All right. So, okay. In which case, I have a scene that. Oh no! I know what this is. I know what this is. Because you're on the way to see. Malvish. You bring in the thing, or are you going to Tyrannosaurus?
Oh, I'm going to Tyrannus and like sending somebody to go, not even to talk to Malavish, because basically at this point, fuck the family hierarchy. I'm sending somebody to talk to you.
Okay.
So it'll be like we have the tree. Come meet us at X
Okay. No, I
location.
think what it is you're on the way to to Tyrannosaurus, right? And this is tricky.
It's extremely tricky.
I'm just trying to work out how I want this to.
Because the thing here is like it depends on what you want to see, because you could begin the scene that involves like if we wanted to sort of really throw a spanner in the works, like you could begin the scene that involves the two of us by being at my farm already when Althea turns up to like have a private conversation with me with Tree there. That would be nice and awkward.
Oh,
But
yeah,
also,
that's
like,
how you could. That's how you could end y'all's scene, is with me riding up with this tree.
But yes, you could do something totally different as well. Like it doesn't have to be related to that.
What's your relationship with Malavish like at the moment?
Who, me?
Yeah.
A little tense.
I don't
That's
think.
kind of Malavish's relationship with everybody. So I currently don't have any particular I don't have any particular beef with him. I think we're on civil terms.
Here's what I would like. I think. Yeah. Okay. While Malavish is visiting Tyrannus,
Okay.
I would like to have this is like while Malavish is about to head out to visit Tyrannus, I want to have a word with a servant that will be going with them, that will be serving wine.
Oh no.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. You're horrible.
Ash,
You're horrible.
this is so good.
Why would you do this to me?
Oh.
Okay, so you're in your house. There's the commotion of.
And I've just told you that I would like keep Malavich under control at the festival. Okay.
Did.
So, yeah, and I've taken and like yeah, everyone like they're preparing to go and like have a discussion about this festival that is supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a huge hubbub, lots of clatter, lots
So
of.
they're preparing to go to this farm where apparently the festival is happening, or rather than having our own festival, which sounds much nicer. Anyway, and I I take aside a servant, and I'm like, and I hand them, like a vial of arsenic.
Yeah.
And I give them the instructions.
Okay, so you're just picking out any particular servant or one that you have.
Whichever one is like A, loyal to me, but also B, going to be like I'm making sure that there will be a servant loyal to me serving drinks to Malavich.
Okay, so what's her name then? Let's
have a look at the names list.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Carlo.
Great.
There's a detail that I'm curious about, but I sort of don't want to ask you because I kind of want you to make that mistake.
Sure.
So just wait and see.
Yeah, so I instruct her that like I think the thing is that Carlo is quite pious. And I say things have been. I think I say, Turan has told me that that it is Malavish's time, and that things must grow and change. And I just say, ensure that he drinks this, and that no one else does.
And she takes the vial from you and looks at it and looks at you, and her face goes a bit pale.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't say anything.
Yep.
Ma'am, is this? And she looks over her shoulder at sort of the hubbub that's going on, not right behind her, but like through the door and in the hallway behind, and looks back to you.
He should
And
not
her
die.
hands
And I think
shaking.
I say he should not die on holy ground.
What do you want to have happen here?
I want my husband to die,
Aha. Yeah.
and I want it to happen at Tyrion.
And you want it to look like I did it.
It's so
Yeah.
So bad.
You too, ladies.
So bad.
thinking of that. She's not even thinking of that. She's just like, there's going to be
No,
like.
she's totally thinking of that. she's a smart tactical person.
So first thing is, this is initiating violence, definitely. And I want to be like check in with everybody that everyone's comfortable with this being a direction that we're comfortable with things going.
I'm hype. This
Right.
is very
Aaron?
dramatic.
How you doing, Aaron?
Sorry,
You good with things going in this direction?
Oh yeah, this is.
In the direction of people dying?
Yeah, I hate him. So yes.
Great. Okay. Let's. I'm so down. Let's do
What
this.
I'm expecting to happen is for him to die around the time
Yep, I'm
that
imagining
that
will.
Aaron's character rocks up. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Oh,
That's exactly what I'm imagining.
Let's roll some dice for this contest.
Let's have a look and see how that goes.
play to find out
Basically,
what
I want
happens.
everyone but me to look involved.
I'm going through all this work to try and get into this family, and you're just killing them.
That's a 2.
Well,
Time for Jason to roll a 1.
last thing that happened, I rolled a 4. You rolled a 2, so it's your turn. You can sort of choose what to do, but it looked right now her hand is shaking. She mumbles a prayer. It sounds like a prayer not to Turan, but to Vanth.
Really? I expected it to be to Horkoth.
No,
She's also sworn to the house, right? Like.
Well, yeah, but Horkos is weird.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We'll figure out.
All right. In which case, so if I push, you just I get to add another one, and I give you a dice. Is that the plan?
Yep. So the GM pool or High Priestess pool would go to 2.
All right. I'm going to do that. So do I
Okay.
roll again?
Yes. Roll. So it's D8 plus 2 now.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Meef.
You
That's
might
not
need
a
to make an
lot.
oath to a god. I mean, it would be very simple here because you could make an oath to either Turan or Vanth and be like, show this person a sign that this is the thing they need to do, and I'll.
I mean, here's the thing.
Like, have you made an oath to murder your husband yet? Because that would be a very.
I'm about to. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, but like, I'm asking for him to die. Is basically it. So like, it's just weird to like be like.
Well, yeah, you can't swear an oath to murder him in exchange for the god killing him for
Right.
you.
That's not. That doesn't.
Right. You're right. That's very circular. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to work out.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to make a pledge to Vanth because it's Vanth's party that is being planned, isn't it?
No,
is it
it's
Suri?
Suri.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pledge to Suri that
they'll make a really big offering at the festival. No,
He's so sneaky.
if only.
I'm going to give my oldest daughter to Suri.
That sounds like a grim thing to be doing. Do you mean in a priest way?
In a
or
priest
in a,
way.
like, literal
In
way?
a priest way.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
They could be the
Yeah,
same thing. Who knows?
I hereby give my daughter to Suri. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I will give my eldest daughter to Suri if her father dies this day.
yeah.
Wow.
You see,
That's
I
wow.
swear it.
That's really dark.
I mean,
Gosh.
in for a penny, in for a pound, right?
what was your name? What did we just say your name was? It was
Kalu?
Kalu. That's right. Yeah, Kalu sort of her hand stops shaking and she gets sort of a strange, distant look in her eyes. And she says, "Spice the wine." "Yes, ma'am." And puts it into a small pouch that's hanging off of her shoulder and turns and walks off.
Yes.
And sort of slips between two fairly burly men who are sort of not walking anymore, but actually jogging towards the front door. And you see both of them happen to have swords at their hips.
Oh shit.
Oh,
That ends that scene.
yeah.
Oh, I really hope
is
they're not.
It's great because like I have my desire is so specific, right? Like my
Which
desire
one?
is
That's good.
harmony under house Talmitha, right? So if my husband's making things disharmonious, he gotta go.
Yep.
Sorry, babe, you gots to go.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And also, I explicitly don't have an understanding of the gods, so this might not be what Turan wants.
Yep. Well, it's what Suri wants now.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll take your daughter for this.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay.
Um,
So, Aaron,
so,
how
yeah,
does
I think
Hi.
we got time for one more scene, and then let's end the session.
because it sounds like this scene is beginning with some dying.
I believe it starts with this. It starts with the audio cue.
Well, it starts with wherever Emily wants it to start. Is the thing.
That's true, Emily. You can set it before the dying if you want.
Oh,
It's
sure. Oh, right.
completely
Yes, because it's actually my scene. Isn't
What novelty?
it? Right. I forgot that. I had in my mind that this was technically Aaron. Okay. So yes, I think I would like to start it then like because I want to hear if Malvish is coming to speak to me specifically of his own volition. I want to hear what that's about. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I think this is the thing is that you have the opportunity to get like a swearing from the house out of him.
Right. And then he's gonna die. Fuck. Yeah, you're right.
Then the house will still be bound by the oath. Like
Yeah, true. Because that's
Oh.
probably how that would work. Yeah.
That's real good.
Yes. So I think I would like to start with like we've sat down, we have like food because that's sort of the immediately first thing that I like always do.
Yeah.
Any conversation. The first thing I do is make sure there's food and or wine. So I would have done that.
Yeah, so Malavish has walked in. I think he arrived. The whole party arrived by foot for the most part, but I think he was in a chariot, not walking himself.
Of course.
And as he arrived, he stepped down and entered the house. And this isn't like a representative cross section of House Talmitha. This is mostly younger people of the house, younger servants, like teenage years and up. Some of the people who you'd probably recognize from the marketplace as just farmhands and stuff like that. And a lot of them are carrying just walking sticks, tall staffs for walking. quite a few of them are wearing swords at their hips, and that's predictable, maybe. But Malavish himself is definitely wearing a sword. And he comes in, leads the others in, sits down wherever it is that you offer him a place to sit. Does Tyrannus have servants, or are they just?
I don't think so. And so I think there's this slightly awkward thing perhaps that like we maybe see happen where like he would go to serve everything and serve the wine himself as the host. But the fact that like there is a servant of House Talmother there means that like the polite thing to do is to like let that servant do that task. But there's this sort of like awkwardness where like he's kind of like sparring a little bit with the servant, but sort of ends up like letting her do her job.
Yeah, she comes up and like gestures at the wine and sort of tilts her head and sort of like implied question, is this the wine that you want served?
Yeah, and they like kind of look awkward, but try to adopt the attitude that you're supposed to have with like polite but like firm or whatever
society. So she takes that and like checking in, making eye contact with you occasionally to sort of slowly go around and start filling wine goblets for all the guests, and figures out where the kitchen is, goes to bring snacks of some kind. Like, so what do you have prepared? You've got something prepared for us.
And I think maybe that is the thing that Tyrannus has already like put out. I think there's like
sort of a long, low table in the middle of the room.
Yeah, exactly. I think that this room that we're in, like kind of opens up, like has maybe large windows or big doors that can kind of be opened out, and opens like straight out onto like one of the orchards. And so there's sort of like the smell of like the farm, and like the grass and everything, and I think they would have like a big kind of sort of bronze platter or something with like some bread and some olives and like maybe some fruit, things like that. Like very, very simple stuff. But like it's very much the like, here, sample the best of my like harvest.
That kind of. Where do you want Malavish? Where do you offer Malavish a place to sit in all this?
I think there's like, I think I've just got this sort of set up so that there's like kind of 2 seats on either side of this like low table. So I would sit like across from him. Yeah.
He sits down in front of you and takes a sip of the wine, sits it back down. Bountiful harvest.
They nod and they say, thank you. Yes. Suri has blessed me this year.
And I pray that she will continue to do so.
Thank you.
And he seems sort of absent-minded, not like it's that sort of formal prayer that's the thing that you do when someone
and I think
in your presence.
And I think maybe there's like an official response where I say like and your lands also, or something like that.
And to clarify, did you invite him here, or he was coming?
That's the question. So far, we've seen on screen this suggestion that he just decided. To come. If you think like that's just that. Okay. I think I'm sort of like I'm there, kind of being like, this is really great. I don't know why he's here, but this is excellent. So I'm sort of very tense, but like just trying to be on like my best behavior, basically, and waiting to like hear what great thing he's come to say.
One clarifying question: Priestess, your wife who died, wasn't affiliated with either of the 2 families, right?
Not that we know as yet, but I'm happy if that can, if that is a thing or if it's a secret thing.
I feel like I don't really see her as within those sort of power
Mm.
politics. I just wanted to check if you had
Yeah.
been imagining her.
Nope,
that way.
I didn't have any particular feelings about that. So yeah. Mm.
With the Festival of Surrey fast approaching, I wanted to offer my condolences once again in the memory of your departed. He says.
And yeah, they like sigh, and they sort of like smile gently with gratitude and say, "Thank you. That means a lot to me. It is always a sad time."
He nods. I fear that it may become sadder. So this is the point where if he was a player character, this would be an offering a gift thing, but can't do that. So just roll straight into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they sort of like they kind of get a bit of a like what does that mean? Look.
Your influence is well known among the common people, and it would be of great value to me to be assured of your support.
Mm.
And I think they kind of like nod in a like thoughtful manner.
Yeah.
And they say, I understand. And like most people around here, most of my neighbors, I just want peace. What do you need?
We need to create the conditions for peace. And peace can only exist on the conditions that have enabled peace to bless these lands for so long.
All your characters are so good and nice.
What? Who? What?
Emily and Aaron.
You too can create good and nice characters if you want.
Just don't pull the kill your husband lever, and it goes a different way.
He doesn't elaborate any further on that, but
okay.
he says again, can I be assured at least of your silence?
Woof.
I think, yeah, they take a very deep breath and they say, in the past, peace has prospered because we've all had understanding for one another and a common goal to make this land profitable and what's what I'm looking for, like big and growing.
Bountiful.
That's a good word. Bountiful. That is
bountiful.
Yes, that is fantastic. Yes, prosperous and bountiful. If that is what you would see continue, then of course you have my support. I am not by nature a silent person.
He coughs a bit loudly. Sorry about that. I forgot that, like, over the microphone, it might be really annoying. But yeah, he coughs. Breathes.
Yeah, I like look a
Partially
bit
through
concerned,
his
and I sort of like wave the servant over to like pour him another drink. Because like we don't have like this. We don't have the thing of like, oh, you should drink water. You know?
No,
like,
no,
drink more wine.
it's watered down wine.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So he takes another sip and sits it down. I fear those days have already passed. And it was not us that struck the first blow. It was the Nestors.
I understand.
You know this.
I understand. But
And I trust that you will say so.
I think at this point, if you were to, and then like they take a moment and they sort of like lean back a little and kind of like filter their words, and they sort of start again. They say, of course, I would not presume to understand these complicated politics. I am just a farmer. But when I have a problem with my neighbor, when my neighbor wrongs me, I do not fight them. I speak with them. I think that is the only way forward. And I think the feast is a perfect time to...
He coughs again, sort of interrupting what you're saying, and then covers his mouth, tries to stop, and gestures for you to keep speaking.
Okay. I sort of, again, I look concerned, but I like, nod, and I say, at the feast, I am planning something a little new, an offering, of course, from myself, but I was hoping that perhaps House Talmother might also make an offering to Suri, and of course I will ensure that House Nestor does the same. It might bridge that a little, and of course I would love for the tree to be restored to you. So I would be very happy to facilitate that discussion. And like I think as they're talking, like they're trying to like they're sort of trying to get something out of this conversation, but they're also like, he's really not okay, and I feel weird just talking, but he's like, wanting me to keep talking.
Is there something in particular? Do you want to start a contest to get something here, or do you want to just keep letting things roll forwards?
If I could. Oh, okay. So I want to try and get a sense of like, do I have a sense of exactly what he wants from me, or is he being very cagey? It sounds like he's sort of being like,
he's been cagey so far.
Yeah, promise me you're going to be silent about whatever it is that I do. Okay, but I think I'm gonna like go out on a limb. I'm gonna offer a gift. So I'm gonna offer the gift of my support and my silence. And can I, like, how do gifts work? Can I request a thing in response, or does no?
You just give the gift and hope that it's reciprocated.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So in which case, I'm gonna angle toward it. I'm going to go with my naive assumption that that like yes, I will offer you support, and you will offer, and your house will give this offering, and so that will go well, and therefore I won't need to be silent about anything bad, because like it'll that action of like everyone coming together will be good. So yes, so I think
what do you say?
Yeah, I say so I've like explained this sort of like, this is the thing that I want to do at the feast, and I think I say because it has to be, no, I can't be giving a gift because I am expecting something in return.
Would that
Like,
be an
that's
oath?
the thing that is.
Well, that's true. I mean, you can still offer the thing. So that means that we can either do this as a contest, with that being sort of the thing that sets it off, or we can just keep going forwards as is and have it be like offer a gift, but it's clearly not really a gift, and I can respond however.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. That seems simpler. So I think it's a gift, because I'm saying like, and
but it's clear what it is that you want from him, which is
to join in this ritual. And I say like how do I word this? I don't have the like political wit that everybody else has, and neither does my character. I think I just say, at such an important event, of course there will be much to be joyful about together, and I will support you as best I can.
He nods, and his face is getting a bit red, but
Mhm.
he stands up, leans across the table, extends his hand towards you, and says, "You're with us then."
Yeah, and I think they just kind of nod, and like part of it is that they're like just really distracted by like what is happening with him, and
Yeah,
so they're
his
kind
hand
of
is
like
really sweaty.
yeah, they're kind of like a little bit out of it, and so they just sort of like take his
Shakes a
hand
little.
and shake it and say,
Mhm.
are you all right? Are you sure? Would you like to lie down, or is there something I can get for you?
Quite all right, he says, and sort of steps towards the door. And it's not like turning away and walking away from you. It's here. Let's walk down to the garden together.
Mhm.
It's.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I stand up.
I'm sure I'll be feeling much better once we've brought the wealth of 2 houses as a gift to Surrey.
Mm-hmm.
The Nestors don't have to offer it of their own accord, of course. And he steps out over, because you've got the doors open, right? He steps out through the doorway and looks down towards where Althea is dragging the tree and has got it to within sight, sees it, and just keels over.
Oh my god. Yeah. So like I'm imagining that from like Althea's perspective, like she just sort of sees like Malovich like step out onto the sort of the like front of the house and then just
Malovich
down.
Malovich and Tarana step out together.
Yeah.
Malovich looks at you, makes eye contact, and immediately just face plants.
I do my best to catch him. Like I imagine that I'm probably I'm probably strong enough to do that. So I sort of catch him awkwardly as he's like falling down.
Yeah, and he doesn't completely face plant. Then he sort of drags you to your knees a bit, though. He's fairly heavy.
Yeah.
He's
and I start calling for like help! I need help.
Yeah, you hear him coughing loudly as well, and I feel like that's where the scene ends.
Is that where we end the session?
Yeah, let's end the session.
Yeah.
One thing I'm very curious about, though, I am just curious. Does Althea have an immediate reaction? Like, is this she like stops and stares in horror? Does she like I'm calling for help? Do I see her and like can I call to her for help?
So how far away am I, Jason?
How far do you want to be?
I was thinking maybe like 20 yards or so. So like when when she starts calling for help,
shouting distance.
I think what happens is like instead of dragging it, Althea just picks the whole thing up with no problem and then like runs over to you all.
Yeah, so I love the idea that we've like we're finishing that scene on like the two of us standing over him, basically.
Yeah, I think she wants to put the tree down like near him so she can be like, I held up my end of the bargain, shithead. Not say it, but she's like thinking it real hard.
Wow.
Yeah, I think if you try to make eye contact with him, his eyes are just glazed over at this point.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And you're surrounded by the servants and attendants of House Talmatha, many of whom have swords.
Yep.
So let's end it there.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Excellent.
Cool.
No doubt.
Okay, so let's go around. Everybody do your outros. I'll go last since I have, the podcast stuff to say. And if you have one, give a little non-capitalist shout out of the day. Jason, why don't we start with you?
Great. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jason. You can find me. I made this game. It's great. I'm loving it so much. And this is a fantastic group for it. So I'm so happy. You can find me on Twitter at Manixer, Manixur. You can also find me on Patreon and itch.io, also as at Manixer, but there's not a whole lot there right now, but there will be. And my non-capitalist shout out is having friends over, having guests in your home and serving things to them that are not poisoned. It's pretty affordable and it's nice. Having people in your space in that way is nice, and I like it.
I like it too. Ash?
Hi, I'm Ash. I'm a game designer and streamer and GM. You can find me on Twitch running role-playing games, also on Twitter and YouTube, and also on Patreon where I do all my game design stuff at Acegiak, Acegiak. And my non-capitalist shout out is candles. They are surprisingly comforting and encouraging.
They really are. Emily?
Hi, I'm Emily. You can find me on Twitter at Blackwall Says. I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/Blackwall. I do art and filmmaking, and I also, particularly on my Patreon, I post maps that I've designed for role-playing games. I just put up a new one the day before yesterday. So if you're into pretty-looking maps for dungeons and towns and stuff, you can support me for as little as $2 a month. And my capitalist shout out is that I have been really appreciating, and I was tweeting about this the other day, I have been really appreciating recently learning how to enjoy or feel grateful for big feelings, particularly big feelings that aren't necessarily comfortable or like nice. But I've been learning about being able to enjoy feeling very sad about something because it is still a big feeling, and it's cool that I get to have big feelings about things and about people. So that is a thing that I have been enjoying practicing.
Nice. Okay, well, I guess I'm last. So I'm Aaron. If you want to find my personal stuff, you can go to Twitter and go to the roadvirus _ for pictures of animals or food or flirting or RPGs or selfies. I also stream stuff and do like date nights and stuff. If you want to go to Twitch, it's twitch.tv /the roadvirus with underscores between the words. If you want to help me pay for some transition related surgery stuff, I'm raising money for that. So you can go to gofundme.com /AaronGetsGRS. For the podcast, you can go to just look for that D&D podcast on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, and I don't know. We're probably on like refrigerators at this point. I don't know. We do normal campaigns Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesday seems to be a good day for our off schedule things, little mini things. If you tune in next week, we will be doing a fun roundtable chat about cyberpunk, the genre, not necessarily the game. Maybe also the game. Who knows? I haven't thought of any topics yet. It'll be great. Don't panic. Nobody panic. And
I'm not panicking. You're panicking.
I am panicking. And my non-capitalist
I'm
shout
excited.
out is polyamory. It's like a calendar, but with love in it.
Oh.
So yes, we've been. This has been that D&D podcast and some really lovely people. And stay tuned to our Twitter. We'll be posting more info about episodes and campaigns and all that sort of stuff. So thank you very much to Ash and Emily and Jason for coming to play. Heart hands for all of you. And thank you to those of you in the chat. Oh God, you all did it. It's so good. Good night, everybody.